Sir, please start.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. I am Dr. A. Gopaldi, Principal TSMS Veenavanka, Karimnagar. Once again, welcome all of you to this botany webinar session. In the previous class, we discussed about the principles of inheritance and variation. As part of that, we discussed about the important terms associated with the genetics. And Mrs. Bharati from TSMS Jarasangam has given a beautiful insight into the basic concepts of the genetics, monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. But after Mendel experiments, several deviations occurred in the inheritance and variations. In today's class, Mrs. Bharati is going to explain all those concepts to us. At this juncture, I take this opportunity to thank Shailja Madam, who is hosting this session, and Naveen Sir, who is co-coordinating along with me. Now I welcome Srimati Bharati to present her session and give us more insights into the very fascinating subject of genetics.
Thank you,
Bharati.
sir.
Thank you, sir. So welcome children who are studying second year botany. So we will enter into the world of genetics. We are learning about the principles of inheritance and variation. So in the previous session, we have learned about the genetic terms, monohybrid cross, test cross and back cross. So we'll move further with the topics that is law of dominance, law of segregation or law of purity of gametes, deviation, what are the deviation from the Mendelian concept of the dominance, incomplete dominance, codominance is deviated from the law of dominance that we'll learn today. And now we'll also learn about the explanation on the concept of dominance using the one gene hypothesis. So law of dominance. Dominance means expressing some character is called as dominant character. In Mendel's experiment, we have seen that Mendel has taken 7 pairs of contrasting character to do his inheritance laws. So laws of inheritance are 3, that is law of dominance, law of segregation and law of independent assortment. So in the 10th class already you have learned about these laws of inheritance and we'll go in depth in this topic during this session. So law of dominance means factors or genes. They are nothing but genes. So these factors are expressed when they are present in the homozygous condition and heterozygous condition. But when these factors are present, they are carried by the alleles. They are pair of alleles which determine the character. That is what is the character of the individual means it is determined by the factors. And the factors are present either in the homozygous condition or heterozygous condition. So basically in the genetic terms, you have seen the homozygous condition. Homozygous condition means both the alleles will be similar. Heterozygous condition means both the alleles will be different. That is, for example, if you take the character as height, in the height of the plant, homozygous condition will be capital T, or small t. And heterozygous condition means capital T and small t. So this character is expressed in the F1 generation. The heterozygous character is expressed in the F1 generation, but the recessive character is not expressed. For example, if you cross capital T with small t, so pure tall when crossed with pure dwarf, we will get a heterozygote that is capital T and small t. We will not get the character of the small t. That means recessive nature is suppressed and the dominant nature is expressed. So recessive nature is expressed only when it is in homozygous condition, that is only when it is capital T and capital T. In the heterozygous condition, the recessive allele is not at all expressed. So these characters are controlled by the factors, or that is nothing but the genes. So these factors are present in pairs. Just now we have seen capital T or small t or capital T small t. So these occur in pairs only. The alleles will form in pairs only. What are alleles? Alleles are nothing but the alternative forms of the same gene. So in the dissimilar pair of factors, that is in the heterozygous condition, for a character, one allele will dominate the other allele and express it. So in the F1 generation, we have seen heterozygous tall. So heterozygous tall means it is present as capital T small t. But which character is expressed here? It is the tallness. So tallness is dominant over dwarfness. That has been explained in the concept of dominance. So if you see this example, monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross, what do you mean by monohybrid cross? The cross between the individuals differing in only one single trait. That is, only one contrasting character is taken. For example, just now I had told you about the tall and the dwarf plants. So they are differing only in one character, that is height. So these tall plants are all pure and the dwarf plants are all pure. So it is written as capital T and small t. So these are pure breeding lines. So the gamete will carry the capital T and the other gamete containing the dwarf seeds will contain the small t. Now this capital T will be a union with the small t. So capital T and small t will be appearing in the F1 generation, that is F1 progeny. So when you cross capital T with small t, you will get a heterozygous condition of the tall plant. So this capital T is expressed, that is only tall plant are obtained and small t is suppressed. So this is called as dominant of the LL over the recessive LL. That means it is explaining the law of dominance. Law of dominance, what did Mendel say? That means one LL of the factor will dominate the other LL of the factor and the other LL will not be expressed in the F1 generation. So there is deviation from the Mendelian law of dominance also. Those are incomplete dominance and codominance. So incomplete dominance and codominance does not follow the rules of law of dominance. That means F1 progeny will not be heterozygous tall. So we'll see that also during the course of session. So incomplete dominance and codominance is exceptional case of the law of dominance. That means law of dominance is not universally accepted by the biologist. The law of dominance explains that the one character in the monohybrid cross is expressed in the F1 generation and both the characters, that is dominant character and the recessive character, is expressed in the F2 generation. So it is obtained in the proportion of 3:1 in the F2 generation. For example, 3 means 3 tall plants and 1 dwarf plant. So we are getting 1 dwarf plant in the F2 generation, not in the F1 generation. In the F1 generation, only one parent will be expressed. That is, it is a capital T. In the F2 generation, small t is also expressed. So in the monohybrid cross, I have explained clearly about these crosses. So if you have any doubt, you can go through that topic. So monohybrid cross will result in the phenotype 3:1 in the F2 generation. That means what? Dominant character is expressed in the ratio of 3 and 1 is the dwarf character. Like that, you can tell that law of dominance is nothing but the expression of only one parent in the monohybrid cross in the F1 generation and the expression of both the parents in the F2 generation. One LL will dominate the other LL. So which is dominating the other LL is called as dominant trait, and which is not being expressed or it is suppressed, it is called as recessive trait. So in the law of dominance, Mendel has taken 2 traits, that is dominant trait and recessive trait. So both of them are opposite. That is why we call it as contrasting character. Mendel has taken 7 pairs of contrasting character to do the analysis. So when you cross the traits in the seed shape, what is the shape of the seed according to Mendel during the cross? The seed shape he has taken is round color, round shape and the wrinkle shaped. So round shape is dominant over wrinkle shaped. We know that. But how did Mendel know that time? He has crossed pure round shaped seeds, that is carrying the LLs capital R and pure wrinkled seeds, that is carrying small r. So during the cross, the gametes are formed. So gametes will carry capital R and small r. Okay. So these gametes are represented in the circular manner only to express the gametes formation. So capital R and small r. It is not that only one allele will go, another R will also be forming in the gamete. So for convenience, we have taken only single capital R and small r. When these two gametes are united, you will get capital R and small r. That means what? Which is dominant? We don't know. But all the plants will produce only round seeds. Okay. Now when these round seeds are self-crossed, you will get capital R, capital R, small r, capital R, small r, small r, small r. So phenotype, what will be there? It is round and wrinkle seeds. So we got wrinkle seeds also in the F2 generation. In the F2 generation, we got round seeds and wrinkle seeds. But in the F1 generation, we got only round seeds. That means what? Small r is suppressed in the F1 generation, but it is expressed in F2 generation. That means this character is recessive and the other character is dominant. So according to the law of dominance, only one allele will be expressing its character in the F1 generation and the other allele will be suppressed. So this is the cross between round and wrinkle seeds that has been done by the Mendel during the experiment. Another example also we can take and do. Violet colored flowers are crossed with white color flowers of the pea plant. So we know that violet color is dominant over white color, but how did Mendel do? How did he know? He has made a cross between the plants which are showing violet color. He has used pure lines, and he has crossed with the pure line white color flowering plant, and he has seen the gametes. He has reduced the calculation. He has extracted the pollen grains of this plant and placed it on the egg of the other plant of the same character. So then he got capital W and small w. Capital W obtained from the violet color flowers and small w obtained from the white color flowers. So capital W and the small w are united. That means fertilization has taken place between these two gametes, and the plant that has produced will have all the violet color flowers in the F1 generation. That means what? F1 generation is expressing only violet color flowers and no white color flowers are obtained. So here he wanted to know what happened to the white color flowers. So what he has done, he has self-crossed the F1 progeny. So what did he get? Using a Punnett square, the calculation will be easy. So we have taken the Punnett square. So capital W, small w are written as gametes on the either sides, and then their cross has been made. So in one cross, you will get capital W, other cross you will get capital W, small w, capital W, small w, and small w, small w. So zygotes, you can see there are 3 violet color and 1 white color. That means what? White color flowers has been expressed in F2 generation. In F2 generation, white color flowers have been expressed, and in F1 generation, there were no white color flowers. That means what? White color flowers are recessive and violet color flowers are dominant. Okay. So in F1 generation, whatever is obtained, that will be dominant character, and whatever will be obtained in the F2 generation, that will be recessive character. But this law did not state accurately. It is not universally accepted. There are some exceptions in this case also. We'll learn that one. So what are the deviation from the laws of dominance? We can see in nature also. For example, other biologist has crossed the various pea plants with various colors, various varieties, and they have seen intermediate colors also in them, and that they have underwent through various experiments and told that law of dominance is not universally accepted. There are exceptions also in the law. So they have seen the exceptions and named it as incomplete dominance and codominance. What do you mean by incomplete dominance? Dominance means in F1 generation, the allele will express its character. But incomplete dominance means there is some other character expressed by the dominant allele. So dominant allele is not expressed in the F1 generation. Some other character is expressed. That we'll see. So it is a condition where one allele of the gene is neither completely dominant nor completely recessive. So in F1 generation, the zygotes which are formed will be different from the parent. Suppose they have taken the flower color of the dog flower color of the dog flower. It is botanically named as, common name is snapdragon or Antirrhinum species. So the person has done crossing between the flower colors of this plant. So what he has done, he has taken red color homozygous condition flowered and white color homozygous condition flower. So you will write capital R for red color and small r for white color. And what did he get in the F1 generation when he crossed red flowers with the white flowers? It should be red. Is it not? According to the law of dominance, it should be red. But they got pink color flowers. Pink color flowers means it is completely different from the parents. There is no pink color flower in the parent. Even in the red color and white color crossing, he got pink color flowers. That means there is some other character expressed in the F1 generation. And when he crossed this pink color flowers again with the pink flowering plant, he got the ratio as 1:2:1. Ratios of 1 red, 2 pink and 1 white. So that means pink has been expressed in the is also appearing as pink color. So phenotypic ratio is different and the genotypic ratio will be same as the Mendelian ratio. Now phenotypic ratio what it is? It is 1 red, 2 pink and 1 white. And genotypic ratio what it is? It is 1 homozygous red, 2 heterozygous pink and 1 homozygous white. That means phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio both are same for the incomplete dominance. Okay, so we'll see in a Punnett square incomplete dominance in the flower color, that is red and white of the snapdragon plant. So they are written the gametes, they are taken the pollen from the red color flower and fertilized with the egg of the white color flower. And what did they get the heterozygote? In the F1 generation, they got capital R, small r. But what is the condition here? Capital R and small r. The condition is that we got pink color flowers, not red color or white color. We got pink color flowers. So in the Punnett square, if you self cross the F1 generation, you will get red color flowers 1, pink color flowers 2 and white color flowers 1. That means the phenotype is also changing. It is deviating from the law of dominance. It is showing 1:2:1 ratio. And the genotype will be same. It is 1:2:1. So incomplete dominance will show the phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio as 1:2:1. So this is the incomplete dominance of the dominant allele in the progeny. Okay. Now what is codominance? Codominance means both the characters will be expressed. So it is compatible. So in this what happens? That it shows that the characters of both the parents. If the parent is having some character and the recessive character is also present in the parent, both the characters are obtained in the progeny. That is called as codominance. Suppose alleles are there. In the allelic pairs, if you take one capital T and other small t, the capital T and small t both should be expressed. If it is expressed, it is called as codominance. But when Mendel did the experiment, he did not get such type of expression of both the alleles in the F1 generation. But some other biologists, when they had done the experiment with various plants, they got the result that neither the allele, dominant allele, nor the recessive allele is showing the expression. So it is called as codominance. So we'll see an example. In the ABO blood grouping, it is determined by the different types of RBC in the human being. This example, you will learn it in the zoology part. So in the botany part, you can see the seed coat pattern and the size of the lentil plant. So seed coat pattern, if you see, or the size of the seeds, if you see in the lentil plant, they show codominance. Now we'll see what is the codominance in the session. So lentil plants is nothing but it is a pulse plant, like red gram, green gram we have no, like that lentil is majorly grown in the North America. They take this as the staple dish. So in this, the cross is made between pure breeding spotted lentils. The seeds will have spots. What spots? It is the grain spots. So these spotted lentils will have irregular patches. Large irregular patches are present on the spotted lentils. And dotted seeds, what they will have? They are small dots on it. The seeds with large patches is called as spotted lentils, and the seeds with small dots is called as dotted lentils. Now when the spotted and dotted lentils are crossed, the plants bearing spotted lentils and the plants bearing dotted lentils are crossed, they got a progeny which is showing both the characters. So spotted and dotted characters both are shown in F1 generation. In incomplete dominance, what did we see? The parent are completely different from the progeny in F1 generation. But here in codominance, what did we see? Both the parents are present. Both the parents are strongly expressing their character. Both the parents are showing some character in the F1 generation. So it is called as codominance. So codominance is nothing but both the alleles will express their character in the F1 generation. So it means that both the traits are equally showing up in the progeny of the heterozygote and the alleles are said to be codominant. So codominant means both the alleles of the parents will be expressed in the F1 generation. Incomplete dominance means the phenotype of the F1 generation will be completely different from the dominant character and the recessive character of the parents. So we'll see a Punnett square now. So it is a cross between spotted and dotted lentils. So pure spotted lentils are taken and pure dotted lentils are taken. Gametes of this is fertilized with the gametes of this plant. So you will get spotted and dotted lentils. So in writing, we'll use capital C with the small s that represents the spotted lentil, and capital C with the D alphabet, it is representing the dotted lentils. While you are writing, this abbreviation should be correct. These symbols are universally accepted by the geneticists. So you should use these symbols only, not on your own. So when CS is crossed with the CD, you will get CS-CD in the F1 generation. It is a heterozygote. So in the heterozygote F1 generation, what is expressed? It is expressing all spotted and dotted lentils. That means in the same seed, irregular patches are present. Also dots are also present in the seed. So the geneticist has told that F1 generation is carrying both the characters of the plants. So we'll see in F2 generation, how can we say that whether the characters of the plants are obtained. So in the Punnett square, CS, CD, you will write in the squares and then you will do the crossing. So if you do the crossing, CS in one zygote, CS, CD in other zygote, CS, CD in other zygote, and CD in other zygote is formed. So if you see the phenotype, what is a phenotype? CS means it is spotted lentil. Okay. Next, CS-CD means it is spotted and dotted lentil. If you see CS-CD means it is spotted and dotted lentil. If you see CD and CD means it is dotted lentil. So how many spotted lentils are present? Only one. How many spotted and dotted lentils are present? 2, 1 and 2. How many dotted lentils are present? Only 1. So if you see the ratio, it is 1:2:1. That means the spotted and dotted lentils are also expressed phenotypically here. Okay. So phenotypically they are present. That means phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio both are same. It is 1:2:1. In the incomplete dominance also, we have seen phenotypic ratio is 1:2:1 and genotypic ratio is also 1:2:1. Genotypic ratio is seen in the same like law of dominance, but the phenotypic ratio is different from the law of dominance. It is expressing 1:2:1. That means you will get a heterozygote expressing both the parents' genotype. Okay, so it is 1:2:1 in the codominance. So if you see the pleiotropy, next part is a pleiotropy gene. So pleiotropy gene means it is nothing but single gene is influencing several characters. If you see one gene, it is giving rise to one gene product. So the gene product will determine the character of the individual. Suppose you take a not so black person and a black person and very less black person. You can see the shades in the color of the skin. So like that, various colors are present in the skin of the human being. So it is being controlled by the pleiotropic gene only in the human being. Likewise, if you take the rose flowers, Rose flowers means you can see various flower with various colors. Red color, white color, pink color, brown color, orange color, like that various colors are obtained. So that is also controlled by single gene only. So if the single gene is controlling several characters in the individual, that gene is called as pleiotropic gene. So for example, in the plants, if you see star synthesis, in the pea seeds, if you take, so in the pea plant, that means starch grains are present. It is a reserve food material in the seeds of the plant. So seeds will have starch synthesis, that is, it is controlled by one gene. This gene is controlling the synthesis of starch in the seeds. Now this gene will have allelic pairs, that is 2 alleles. And what are those 2 alleles? It is capital B and small b. The star synthesis is controlled by capital B and small b. You should write these symbols only, not some other symbols. So capital B and small b is controlling the star synthesis. So capital B will produce large starch grains in the seeds, and small b will not produce large, but because of the less efficiency, it will produce small starch grains in the seeds. Now, after maturation, if you see the seeds of large starch containing seeds and small starch containing seeds, the large starch containing seeds will have round shape. Okay, the large starch containing seeds will be round and the small starch containing seeds will be wrinkled. So round means it should be expressed. Wrinkle means it should be suppressed in the F1 generation. What about the starch grains? There is a deviation here. So after the crossing, they obtained round seeds and wrinkle seeds. When they examine these seeds, they obtained that instead of large and small, intermediate size of this starch grains has been obtained. That means it is neither large nor small, intermediate, medium. Medium size of starch grains has been obtained. That means the heterozygotes produced is not showing the complete dominant allele. So it is showing intermediate allele. That means capital B and small b heterozygote, if produced, it is producing round seeds. So we will think that capital B is dominant over small b. But the seed will produce a starch grain which is of intermediate size. It is not large size starch grains. So it is showing incomplete dominance according to this phenotype. That means it is showing intermediate size of the starch grains with the round seeds. So hence the dominance will depend upon the gene product and also on the pleiotropic gene. So whatever result is present, from the result only we can tell whether it is a dominant character or the recessive character. Looking at the alleles, we cannot tell. So after the gene product has formed, then only we can tell that the gene is, the allele is dominant or recessive. So in this, it has shown incomplete dominance over the starch grains. So this gene is controlling 2 characters, that is shape of the seed and also production of the starch grain size. So it is controlling 2 characters. So this 2 characters means one gene is controlling 2 characters. That is why it is called as pleiotropic gene. So you see the checkerboard here. So capital B means it is round shaped seeds, and small b means it is wrinkle shaped seeds. So when this capital B with large starch grains is crossed with small b with small starch grains, the gametes are capital B and small b. When they are united, they will give F1 progeny as capital B and small b. Now this is carrying capital B, so it will be round shaped seeds. But what about the starch grains? It is controlling some other character in them. It is the intermediate size. So if you cross capital B and small b, capital B and small b, you will get capital B with one character, that is round, capital B and small b with another character which is round, and capital B small b with the character which is round, and small b with the character which is wrinkled. So you will get here starch grains, which is more efficient. They'll produce more large number of starch grains. And if you see recessive character in them, it will produce small starch grain. But in the capital B, small b, they obtain round with medium size, that is intermediate size starch grains. So if you see the ratio, 1 homozygous round shaped seeds, 2 heterozygous round shaped seeds, and 1 homozygous wrinkle shaped seeds. So 1:2:1. It is a genotypic ratio of the law of dominance. What about the phenotypic ratio in them? So you can see round seeds, BB, round seeds, capital B, small b, round seeds, capital B, small b. So it is 3. 3:1. It is wrinkled is only 1. So phenotypic ratio depending upon the shape of the seed is 3:1. And the genotypic ratio depending upon the shape of the seed is 1:2:1. That means it is following complete dominance. So you can see here, cross with regard to the shape of the seed, that is phenotypic ratio, you will get 3:1. So it is following the law of dominance. If you see the genotypic ratio, it is 1:2:1. It is also following the law of dominance. So this is showing the law of dominance. Which one? The shape of the seed. If you go to the size of the starch grain, the phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio, if you see, large starch size grains are produced, that is 1, 2 intermediate size is produced, and 1 small size is produced. That means what is the ratio? 1:2:1, depending upon the size of the starch grain. So it is showing incomplete dominance here. First one, it was showing law of dominance, that is complete dominance. In the second one, it is showing incomplete dominance. So if you see, they are producing 2 types of character in the seeds. So that means capital B is influencing 2 characters, that is shape of the seed and the size of the starch grain. Hence, this BB is called as pleiotropic gene. Pleiotropic gene means it will control many characters at a time. So depending upon the expression of that pleiotropic gene, the character is showing some variations in the individual. This is called as pleiotropic gene. So pleiotropic gene means it will control several characters. Now what is the explanation of the concept of the dominance? So if you see, dominance means we know it will be expressed and other will be suppressed. So suppressed expression is called as recessive character and expressed is called as dominant character. Now how did they told in the later century by the biologists? They have taken the example of the one gene and one enzyme hypothesis. In that what they have told, that the gene is producing a protein. Okay, protein in the sense mRNA synthesis will produce a protein, and that protein is nothing but the enzyme. Enzymes are proteins, we know that. So this enzyme is produced by the gene. One gene is producing enzymes. Now this enzyme will help in the conversion of the substrate into product. What is the function of enzyme? It is converting the substrate into product, increasing the rate of reaction. That means substrate will be converted into product only in presence of enzyme. So this enzyme is produced by the gene, and the gene will contain 2 alleles, allelic pairs. They are present in the pairs. Alleles are present in the pairs, that we know. So the allele, one allele will be normal allele. We consider like that. One allele is normal allele, another allele is modified allele. Modification is seen in the allele because of various environmental factors, or it may have gone mutation. So normal allele is present in the gene, modified allele is present in the gene. So we will think that normal allele is producing normal enzyme, and that normal enzyme is converting substrate into product. No issue with that. What happens if the modified allele is produced? If the modified allele is produced, there are 3 conditions here. The modified allele may produce the enzyme which is less efficient, or it is like normal allele. So the normal or less efficient enzyme can be produced. And when it is producing normal enzyme, that means it is not modified. It will show the same phenotype as the normal allele. So normal allele will produce by the unmodified allele. So unmodified allele means it will not undergo any change. The allele will be same. And it may, modified allele may also produce non-functional enzyme. That means the enzyme will not show any function. Even though it is present, it will not show any function. And modified allele may show no enzyme at all. It does not produce any enzyme. So protein synthesis might have stopped. That is why it is not producing any enzyme. Why did the protein synthesis stop? Because of the modification in the allele. So modified allele may produce three conditions. It is a normal or less efficient enzyme, or non-functional enzyme, or no enzyme at all. Now, what are the products of this? How does it convert the substrate into product? So a less efficient enzyme means it is not showing complete dominance of the gene. So it is showing some other character, some other phenotype, and that is expressed like normal allele. So normal allele will be producing normal enzyme. In the modification also, normal enzyme is present means it will show the same phenotype. Okay, so when non-functional enzyme is present, it will not show any phenotypic change. That means it will not produce any change in the substrate. And if no enzyme is present means it will not at all produce any conversion of the substrate into product. That means these two both are recessive. They are not expressing their character means it is recessive. But less efficient enzyme is unmodified allele. It is expressing its character means it is dominant enzyme, dominant allele. So modified allele can be dominant allele or recessive allele. Dominant allele may be because of the normal enzyme or less efficient enzyme produced by the modified allele. It is called as unmodified allele. Generally, the allelic pairs will be like this only. And sometimes by mutation or by environmental conditions, the allele will not produce any enzyme or some other non-functional enzyme will be produced. For example, enzymes means in 10th class you have seen enzymes. There are many enzymes in the chapter nutrition, that is lipase, amylase, trypsinogen, pepsinogen, like that many enzymes are present. So these enzymes will help in the conversion of substrate into product. But you have seen non-functional enzymes also in them. For example, in the gastric juice, you can find the enzyme pepsinogen. Pepsinogen is what? It is an inactive enzyme. So it is activated. Until activation occurs, it will not change the proteins into peptides. So it is a non-functional enzyme there. Like that, here also we can find functional or less efficient enzyme or non-functional enzyme, or the modified allele will not produce any enzyme. So we are taking three conditions now here. Same I am repeating. So modified allele, if you see, they produce normal enzyme like the normal allele. And means it is still unmodified. That means there are no change in the modified allele. The modified allele is same like the normal allele. So it will help in the transformation of the substrate S and produce the same product like the normal allele. So this allelic pair is common. That means it is showing the dominant character. B and C will produce, which may affect the phenotype. That is, it will affect the character of the B and C producing enzymes. If you see unmodified allele or the normal allele or the functioning allele is dominant because it is producing the original phenotype. So a phenotype means what is the expression of the allele is same. If the modified allele is recessive allele, recessive allele means it is not expressed. So in B and C, non-functional enzyme is produced or no enzyme is produced. That means it is not expressing its trait. That means it is a recessive trait. So dominant trait is expressed and recessive trait is suppressed. That means they have followed the concept of dominance. They have shown that law of dominance shows the expression of the dominant character and suppresses the recessive character. So law of dominance has been accepted by this hypothesis. Law of segregation is the second law of the Mendel's. So law of segregation, segregation means separation. No blending or no mixing is seen in the segregation. That is called as law of segregation. So law of purity of gametes means the gametes will have pure LS in them. For example, when you take a character like height, in that height character, genes will have tallness and roughness. So gene tallness will have two allelic pairs. That is, it will have capital T, capital T. The homozygous condition. So in capital T, the alleles are present together. But while gamete formation during the meiosis, gamete formation, you will write only one capital T in one gamete, another capital T in another gamete, but no capital T in one gamete itself. You will not write like that gametes, because the alleles are going to each gamete. So during the separation, the gametes will carry only one allele. In the heterozygous condition also, if you see capital T, small t, one capital T will go to one gamete, another small t will go to the other small gamete. But it does not carry both the alleles in the same gamete. That means what? The alleles are separating. They are not mixing. They are not blending. They are showing different transfer of the alleles to different gametes. That means what? Gametes will have only one kind of allele. It is not one kind of gene. It is only one kind of allele. So it is showing the separation. This is called as law of segregation. Since gametes are very pure with the alleles, it is called as law of purity of gametes. This law is universally accepted without any exception in them. So this is a universal phenomena in the sexually reproducing organisms. In the sexually reproducing organisms, during the meiosis, the gamete will carry only one allele of that gene. It will not carry both the alleles of that gene. So it is called as law of segregation or law of purity of gametes. So this law of segregation is based on the following facts. The alleles will not blend. Like it is present in the parent plant, it will not blend in the gametes. Gametes will have only one allele for a kind. And during the gamete formation, only one allele of the two factors is received. So during the gamete formation, only one allele is received by one gamete and the other allele is received by other gamete. So if you see homozygous parent, for example, if you take capital T, one will go to the one gamete, another capital T will go to the other gamete. So it will produce similar gametes. Remember this, it will produce similar gamete. Homozygous parent will produce similar gametes, and homozygous parent will not have the involvement of both the alleles in the same gamete. One gamete will have one allele, another gamete will have another allele. That means it is showing the segregation there, separation there, no blending there. If you take the heterozygous parent, that is capital T and small t in the parent, the gametes produced will be dissimilar because only one gamete will have capital T, another gamete will have small t. So they are dissimilar, they are changing. So in heterozygous, dissimilar gametes are produced. In homozygous, similar gametes are produced. So this segregation of the genes is universal method. It is universally accepted in the sexually reproducing organisms. All the sexually reproducing organisms will undergo meiosis, and during that process, gametes are formed, and the gametes will have only one kind of allele. Okay, so this has been expressed by monohybrid cross by the Mendel. Mendel has shown that the gametes are showing only one kind of allele and they separate during the meiosis. That has been shown by the Mendel. And it is also explained in the dihybrid cross, and they given the name law of independent assortment. So in the law of independent assortment, we'll see how does the difference in the gametes are seen. So in the plants, this law can be expressed by taking tall and dwarf plants. I have told you, no, you take a pure tall and pure dwarf as two contrasting traits. That means two opposing characters. So tall plant, when it is crossed with dwarf plant, in the F1 generation, you will get only tall plants. And in F2 generation, you will get tall plants and dwarf plants in the ratio of 3:1. That means what? Tall plant is being transferring its gametes, and then it is fusing with the gametes of the dwarf plant, and it is producing ratio 3:1 in the F2 generation. That means tall and dwarf are expressed here in the ratio of 3:1. So this shows that gametes are carrying only one L. We'll see in the cross. So now it is time to answer. You can do the calculation in this question, but in genetic problems, we will do this part also. So what is the question? In a garden P, the gene T for the tall is dominant over its allele for the dwarf, that is small t. Give the genotypes of the parents in the following process. Genotype means what is the capital T or small t or capital T small t is obtained in the crosses that we should write. So tall plant is crossed with dwarf plant. It produces all tall plants, and tall plant is crossed with tall plant. It produces 3 tall plants and 1 dwarf plant. How will we get the progeny? With that, you should write the genotypes of this tall plant and dwarf plant. Okay. So next question is explain the codominance with example. Codominance means what? Both the alleles will be expressed in the F1 generation. Both the alleles are strong, both the alleles are expressive. So you'll get both the characters of the parent in the progeny. So what is the ratio here? Phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio. It is 1:2:1. The phenotypic ratio is 1:2:1. Genotypic ratio is also 1:2:1. So codominance example, you can take the lentil plants. In the lentil plants, you can see spotted lentils and dotted lentils. When you cross spotted lentils with dotted lentils, you will get F1 generation with both spotted and dotted lentils. So it is expressed in the ratio of 1:2:1. That is called as codominance. If you take the incomplete dominance in this, the phenotype is different from what we have obtained in the parents. So it is called as incomplete dominance. So example, you can take the snapdragon, red color flowers and white color flowers. So when they are crossed, they get F1 generation, all pink color flowers. So the phenotype of the F1 generation is completely different from the parent generation. That means it is showing incomplete dominance. In the animals also, if you see, the cow with the brown color coat and the white color coat is crossed, means you will get a cow with the roan color coat. That means it is neither blue, brown nor white. It is some other color they have obtained with the crossing. In zoology, you will learn about that. In botany, there is another cross also done by the Mirabilis jalapa, that is 4 o'clock plant. 4 o'clock plant will have flowers. These flowers are showing incomplete dominance. For example, if you cross the red color flower with the white color flower, you will get pink color flower. And when that pink color flower is again self-crossed, you will get both the plants with 3 colors. That is, red color flowers are also present, white color flowers are also present, pink color flowers are also present in the same plant. Like that, it is expressing incomplete dominance. You can see this plant around you. It is called as 4 o'clock plant. In the 9th class also, you had done this experiment. So incomplete dominance means the phenotype is different and the dominant parent is not expressing its character in the F1 generation. It is called as incomplete dominance. So it is a task given to your brain. So you can do this at your home with your mother and father. So when you observe your mother and father and yourself, it will be easy for you to write the answers for this. So we'll see what are the various traits that is present in you, your father and mother. So for example, if you take the handedness means generally all are right-handed persons. So sometimes there may be left-handed person also. They may write with left hand. Generally all will write with right hand only, but there may be left hand. So how are you? You are right-handed or left-handed? Like that you can write. And you can see the character in the father and mother. You can see whether the father is writing with left hand or right hand, or your mother is writing with left hand or right hand. So with that, you can tell whether you are resembling your father in this character or you are resembling in your mother in this character. So sight, if you think a normal sight without any specs you can be, or you may have sight. So first you observe yourself whether you are wearing the specs. If you are wearing the specs, you will have a sight. If you are not wearing the specs, you'll write here normal. Now you observe your father, whether your father is having specs or it is normal vision. Your mother, whether your mother is having specs or it is a normal vision, you can write here. Then compare yourself with your father and mother. Sometimes it may happen that you have the specs and your father and mother is not having the specs. Like that condition also arises. And if you see the eye color, whether the eye color pupil, the iris is blue color or not. Blue color is generally dominant in nature. So there are other colors of the eyes also, like green, blue, brown, black, like the colors of the eyes are also there. But you observe the blue color in yourself in your father and mother, and you can decide whether you got the trait from your father or your mother. Next, allergies, if you see, it is an environmental condition, whether you have allergy with any substances like pollen grains, mushrooms, or any other food habit, or any other smells like that, you can see what allergy you have in yourself and compare that allergy with whether it is present in your father and mother. That means you got that trait from your father or mother. Sometimes it may not be present in your parents, but you may get it. So earlobe in 10th class, you have seen this, free earlobes or attached earlobes. So free earlobes, you can write if you have that character, or if you have attached earlobes, you can write that character. Now compare this character with your father and mother and see the trait has been inherited by you from your father or mother. Next is eye shape. Close set eye shape, deep set eye shape, protruding eye shape, or almond eye shape. Close set means it will be having elongated eyes. For example, like god and goddesses, when you draw the painting, you will draw their eyes like a close set only. So that whether you're having that kind of eyes or whether you're having deep seated. That means deep seated means the eyes will be inside the orbit, eye orbit. That means it will be a little bit inside. That is called as deep set. So whether you have such type of eyes, you can observe it in your father and mother and decide what character you got from them. Protruding means bulging eyes. The eyeballs will come out of the orbit, eye orbit. So it is called as protruding. You can compare that with your father and mother. Almond eyes means perfect proportion of the eye with the eye orbit. So the eyes will be perfect. That is called as almond eye. So you can compare that character in you with the father and mother. And tongue is whether the person, whether you can roll your tongue or not. Rolling and non-rollers will show the dominant character and the recessive character. You can see in yourself whether you can roll your tongue or not. So if you can roll, you will come under roller. If you can't roll, you will come under non-roller. You can compare the trait with your father and mother and see. So this is a task given to your brain. You can do it with lot of interest, this task, so that you can be a scientist for some time. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, sir. Thank you, sir.
Let's go.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Hello,
Sir,
Charlie madam. బాగా వచ్చింది మేడం.